Home inspections performed to these standards of practice are intended to provide the client with information regarding the overall condition of installed systems and components of the home based on observation of the visible and apparent condition of the structure and components at the time of the inspection. The inspector shall report systems and components that, in the professional opinion of the inspector, are significantly deficient or at the end of their service lives. A home inspection does not include the prediction of future conditions. These standards shall not be construed as limiting the scope of the inspection process in areas where the inspector is qualified or has special knowledge. The inspector shall inspect readily accessible installed systems and components using normal operating controls and opening readily operable access panels. Where multiple instances of the same component exist, a representative number shall be inspected. If not self-evident to the client at the time of inspection, the inspector shall provide a reason why a system or component was reported as significantly deficient or near the end of its service life. The inspector shall make recommendations for correction, monitoring or further evaluation of observed deficiencies. Structural systems include foundation, floor structure, wall structure, ceiling structure, roof structure, post beams, columns, joists, rafters, trusses, framing, and ventilation of foundation areas. The inspector shall inspect visible structural systems and components, probing where deterioration is visible or suspected. The inspector is not required to enter crawl spaces or attics when unsafe or when conditions could cause damage. The inspector is not required to provide engineering or architectural services. Electrical systems include service entrance conductors, service equipment, grounding panels, conductors, overcurrent protection devices, lighting fixtures, switches, receptacles, ground fault circuit interrupters, arc fault circuit interrupters, smoke detectors, and carbon monoxide detectors. The inspector shall inspect all visible and readily accessible electrical systems and components. The inspector is not required to measure amperage or voltage, perform load calculations, insert tools into components, or determine the accuracy of circuit labeling. HVAC system, fleet heating and air conditioning equipment, fuel storage, vent systems, ductwork, mechanical ventilation systems, and distribution components. The inspector shall inspect all readily accessible HVAC systems and components. The inspector is not required to determine supply adequacy, distribution balance, indoor air quality, or operate systems when engine conditions may cause damage. Roof covering systems include roof and materials, flashing skylight, chimneys, drainage systems, attic ventilation and insulation. The inspector shall inspect all visible and readily accessible roof systems. The inspector is not required to walk on a roof when unsafe, when no safe access exists, or when damage may occur. Plumbing systems include water supply piping, drain waste and vent systems, plumbing fixtures, water heating equipment, and main shut-off valves. The inspector shall inspect visible and readily accessible plumbing systems and components. The inspector is not required to test water quality, operate shut-off valves, or determine whether systems are public or private. Interior components include walls, ceilings, floors, stairways, cabinets, doors, windows, insulation, fireplaces, vent systems, and household appliances. The inspector shall inspect visible and readily accessible interior components using normal operating controls. The inspector is not required to move furniture, ignite fires, light pilot lights, operate specialty features, or disturb insulation. Exterior components. Exterior systems include wall cladding, exterior doors, decks, balconies, eaves, soffits, driveways, garages, and carports. The inspector shall inspect visible and readily accessible exterior systems. The inspector is not required to inspect fences, recreational facilities, outbuildings, swimming pools, or move stored items. Site conditions that affect the structure. Site condition include vegetation, grading, surface drainage, and retaining walls when likely to adversely affect the structure. The inspector shall inspect visible and readily accessible site condition. The inspector is not required to inspect geological, geotechnical, hydrological conditions, or erosion control measures. State of photo home is erection standards of practice.